years, they've been doing this study, and they've been looking for what it is that makes adults gel. What is it that makes up for a proper adult development? What is it that makes for living long? What is it that makes for living well? And the result of their study is that what it takes to live long and well is relationships. Is having the right relationship in the different areas of our life. And it's not just having those relationships, but making sure those relationships are quality relationships. When you do that, you tend to live a long life, and a life that you enjoy, that's fulfilling, that is well. You live long, you live well, you live healthy, you enjoy your life, you get the full benefit of living. That's what they found out from the study. And that kind of agrees with a lot of other studies, done in different other facets or facets, of the scientific world, psychological world, where it is that it's typically said that the relationship is life's bottom line. We're here to relate with one another. We're here to be a blessing to one another. We're here not because of ourselves, but because of the generality of us. We're here to be a blessing to other people. And that kind of agrees. I talk all the time with what I learned from Peter Drucker, as part of my time through management school, is that the essence of every organism is not found within that organism, but it's found outside of that organism. Everything that an organization or an organism does is for the purpose of preparing to interact with things that are outside of itself, not within itself. Yes, it interacts with things within itself. It does all of that. But the intent, the essence of all of that is to prepare for the eventual interaction with things that are outside of itself, not things that are within itself. Right? In marketing, we would say that we all work for the customer. Right? The customer is the boss, because the customer pays the bills. The customer pays the bill, right? We get the money from the customer, because everything you do inside that organization, if it's not bought by the customer, then the company will disappear. The company will not have value. The value of the organization is the value that the customer gives to that organization by interacting, by buying into what the organization is doing. So if whatever the organization is doing, if it's not in sync with where and what the customer is or needs, then the organization has lost value, has lost essence. And that's what we saw with different organizations that have since disappeared, because they lost sight of their customers. They became too focused on themselves that they became irrelevant. And the customers stopped paying the bills. So they ran out of market. They did not have a market to necessitate their existence. So they evaporated, they disappeared, right? If you understand this, then you will be in business, right? It is just a simple logic, simple marketing essence, that will make a difference between life and death, success or failure of your organization, and even of your individual person. Because as a person, your essence, your ability to live the fullness of all that you are created to live, to be, is to the extent to which you are useful, right? Is to the extent to which people can see you, people can hear you, people can understand you, right? If no matter what you do, people cannot see you, you are useless, you're invisible, you have no essence. If people cannot hear you, then if people cannot understand you, then what's the use of your gifting? Right? All your gifting, all your talent, all your effort are only as useful to the fact that people can see, hear, and understand that which you are trying to give to them, that which you're trying to give to the world. We'll tie that again to Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey, in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, you see his book is broken into 3 parts, right? The first 3 habits is about winning the war within, winning the war within, winning the war on the inside, getting the inside ready to interact outside, because there's no use going to interact outside when you have not sorted out your inside. There's no use going to the customer when the organization is not in sync, when the organization does not understand why it is in existence, right? So Stephen Covey calls those three habits. He says winning the war within, winning the war within, winning the war within, and that ties again to the African proverb, which says that, as if there be no enemy within, the enemy without can do you no harm. If there be no enemy within, the enemy without can do you no harm. So the best way, the right way to win against the enemy that is outside of you, that is arrayed against you, is to first of all win the war inside of yourself. Because when you win the war inside of yourself, you are sure of winning the war against the enemy that is outside of you. Right? But you cannot win the war on the inside of you. When you have spies, when you have enemies within, it's easy for the enemy without to harm you. Right? If you look at that, the popular movie on the Spartans, right? Spartan, one of the villages or groups in Greece, the Spartans, right? They are known for their war. They are known for their victory, right? But having someone who betrayed them within, led to their failure, to their losing the war, right? Because someone on the inside betrayed them. They were strong, they were powerful, they were vicious, they were unbeatable, right? Until they had someone, they had an enemy within. Then the enemy without connived with the enemy within to bring about their downfall, right? So it's so it's all about relationship, but before we can relate and be effective in relating with other people, we have to first of all relate with our own self. There has to be a peace within. You have to win the war within. You have to be at peace with yourself, because you are not at peace with yourself, you can't be at peace with other people. If you don't know yourself, you can't know other people. If you don't love yourself, you can't love other people, right? If you don't love yourself, other people cannot love you also, right? Because you don't love yourself, because you teach other people how to relate with you. You teach other people how to carry you. You teach other people how to respect you. But if you don't respect yourself, people will not respect you, right? You teach people how to relate with you, right? So if you're having issues with relationship, if you're having broken marriage, broken relationship, if you're not able to find a spouse, the problem is not outside. The problem is inside of you. The problem is inside of you. When you sort out the issues on the inside of you, you, everybody will be rushing to be a friend with you. You are not a prized possession until you are a prized possession to yourself. The issues you think you have outside is because of the issues you have on the inside. When you sort the issues on the inside out, the issues outside will be nothing. The victory you win on the inside of you will win the victories on the outside, right?